It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here today on the big program. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. Big news. Big news. Democrats going to move a $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation bill. Going to do some incredible things. Got an opportunity here. And an excellent opportunity here to regain their credibility with the working class in this country. They've got an opportunity to show that they've got a backbone, a spine, that they've got direction, that they're actually going to lead. This, to me, really important. The other thing, and look, there's a lot of great things in this. For me, the number one thing, the PRO Act is still in it. The first bit of major, I'm talking major labor law reform in my entire lifetime, and really in the last 70 years. You go back to Taft-Hartley in 1947, that out of whole cloth created this right to work environment that basically says you can have the right to freeload. You can get all the benefits of being a union member, the wages, the hours, the conditions, the grievance procedure, all of that stuff. You can get it for free. Because who doesn't love free stuff? Who doesn't love to get stuff off the expense of someone else? Basically, to starve unions of resources to be able to fight for those better wages, hours, conditions. For me, the fact that the PRO Act is still there, really important. Shows Democrats have a little bit of a spine, a little bit of a push. Now, we're going to find out what the Senate parliamentarian does. Not going to be thrilled if she pulls that out of there. But for now, step in the right direction. This is one of those things that I've been saying for the longest time we need to get done. You want to solve a lot of problems in this country? You want to solve a lot of our tension points? Give people good jobs. Give people opportunities to lead a better life. And things will take care of themselves. I firmly believe that. You give people quality work with a quality wage and an opportunity to support their families. A whole lot of people, the temperature cools a little because people have hope and opportunity in the future. You know, you go back to the Obama years, they were talking a lot about hope and opportunity, hope and change, yet they didn't do the one thing that I wanted them to do from the beginning, which was pass major labor law reform. This could be that moment. Look, we've got the most pro-union president ever. In my view, or at least in my lifetime, this is the moment. Now, it's going to come down to, and we know this, it's going to come down to those handful of Democrats. Will you get the Manchins and the Simonas and the Werners and some of the the one from New Hampshire, the one from out west? You're going to get them all on board. I got to think the fact that it's still there at this moment and they're moving forward on this, a good chance. Now, lots of good stuff in this. The fact that right now there's a push to lead, it's in here, 2 years free community college for every American student. That is huge. They're going to expand the $300 a month child tax credit on into the future. Long-term expansion of this is what they said. Going to expand Medicare to have dental, vision, eye, hearing, all that stuff. So that all those stuff that's important. Because it's always been weird to me that your teeth and your eyes and your ears and all that, they're not part of your body. So that, and look, I've talked to a number of people recently who are thrilled about this. Now, if only we could get them to lower the Medicare age, get it down to 55, you'd see a slew of people retiring, opening up opportunities for younger workers. That may come at some point. Also, there's going to be the continuation of additional subsidies for folks to get the Affordable Care Act, health care. Because of the pandemic, that's a good thing. There's some stuff in there about climate change because I don't know about you, but it's we got a lot of work to do to get us moving. And as the frame has been laid out, and this is one of those moments where I'm going, thank goodness already. I've for years I've heard people say, "Oh, we need small government. We need small government." And I've always said, look, I don't care how big or how small government is. I want effective government. I want government who's going to be able to do the things that we need them to do, the things that we can't individually do, that we collectively do through our government. That's how big or how small I want them to be, to meet the challenges of our moment. Right now, pandemic, big thing. Economy, big thing. Infrastructure, big thing. Healthcare, big thing. Education, big thing. All big things that we should be collectively moving forward on and giving people the opportunity, well, to make better lives. So I saw this line, the era of big government is over. And it's about time. Because this all-out assault on our government has been dangerous, and it's gotten us to this moment. And, the Republicans built an entire image and brand around bashing government. They've built their entire ideology around, let the free market take care of things, only to find out, and we all knew this, that the free market is in it for profit, to make as much money and put as much money in their pockets as possible. This is one of those moments where I look at this and go, I want effective government. I want to solve some of our problems. As I said at the beginning of the year, I'm about getting things done. I'm not about, a Democrat or a Republican. We got to get things done. For too long, we've been mired in this kind of just this logjam that it's either not perfect enough or, we find a reason to always kill it. Now, look, there's talk right now that the squad, AOC and Ilhan Omar and the others are going to vote against this $3.5 trillion package because they want a $6 trillion package. Obviously the perfect over the possible. And look, would I love to see a $6 trillion investment package in this country? Absolutely. Is it going to happen? Probably not. And you probably weren't going to get those moderate Democratic senators to come along. Now, I get the squad's play here. We want bigger. We want to push. I get that. 100% there. I don't think they block it. Again, I think they make their stand, but it passes because it has to. Because here's the thing. Come election time, do you want to be the one person who stopped progress? Do you want to be that one person who says, no, we're not paving roads, we're not educating kids, we're not getting health care for people? No. Are you going to be that person? Right now, in this moment, the answer is no. Now, if the shoes were on the other foot and this were the Republicans, absolutely, they would kill this if they could. Because they don't want any of those things. They're happy the way things are. And as I've been saying for quite some time, the reality is, if we're going to remake our economy, if we're going to overhaul our economy and give people the opportunities and fix some of the massive gaps between the working class and everyone else, between minority groups, between LGBTQ groups. If we're going to pull this country back together in some way, it's going to be in the workplace. And I've been saying this all along. This is how we mend this country, by remaking our economy in a way that people have an opportunity. Update the social contract. Actually, not update it. Glue it back together and then laminate it. The idea that it's actually going to be something that's going to make the test of time. I mean, we're not going to get back to where my grandparents' generation was. We're not going to get there yet. But moving in that direction is important. And I'll tell you, what's interesting to me? What's interesting to me is we're not hearing so much about socialism right now. For a while, Republicans were, socialism. But this month, checks are coming out for the child tax credit. And this is the important part of this. It's coming out for everyone. This is not something you can pick and choose one group or another. This is not something that you can divide the working class over. This isn't something that you can pit groups against each other. Well, they got it, but you didn't. Not happening. Everybody under 150 grand for a couple gonna get it. The mass of the working class going to get this, and there's no way to divide. Everyone's getting it. And what's interesting, even my Trump supporting T-Twizzler friends, they're willing to take it and quietly accept the socialism because they're benefiting from it. And look, I'm not rubbing their nose in it. I'm not, and I will not, because this is a good thing. This is a moment. This is a moment of possibility. This is a moment where we can say, look, there are programs that could be good. Stop with the idiotic labeling and think about moving forward, thinking about getting things done, accomplishing something, making lives better. See, for me, that's what government can do if used properly. Now, we can have a government like we had in the last term that, smash everything and deregulate and hands off and, you go corporate America and, ultimately try and overthrow. But we can also use it in the right way. Restrain it in the right ways where we need to and make lives better. And I know I hear it all the time, but Rick, we can't afford it. Can't afford it. You want to spend what? $6 trillion investing in the country? Yeah. Yeah, the American Society of Civil Engineers says it's actually more than that we need to invest in our infrastructure. Our infrastructure. We're not even talking about healthcare for red states. This is the part that blows my mind. 2 million people in red states are going to get healthcare because of Joe Biden. This is about investing in not just roads and bridges and in the hard infrastructure, but in humanity, but in our seniors and our young people and our workers in ways that haven't been done in generations. And you could look at me and go, it's not enough. It's not Bernie Sanders' way. It's not, it's not AOC's way. It's not any of that. It's not enough. It's not perfect. And I go, you're never getting perfect. Take what we can get, move on it, and then continue to organize to push for better. But this idea that we're going to kill this because it's not perfect right now is ludicrous. And the fact that they keep saying we can't afford it, nonsense. We can afford it. There's tons of money out there. We just have to have a tax code that says, you know what? The bigger your shoulders, the more water you carry back to the cave. The more you make, the more you're going to have to pay. Sorry, that's just how it is. You've gotten away way too long. We've already created the largest billionaire class in the history of civilization. We've already done that. We just witnessed, the space race between billionaires. And aside, someone sent me a cartoon of like an astronaut sweating profusely trying to make the decision, end child hunger or go to space. And my thought was, why is this cartoon even here? There was no choice. They didn't fret over it. They went to space because it's about them. We have to make it about us. And this is one of those moments. So when the AFL-CIO put out their most recent executive pay watch report, nothing surprising, honestly. What we found out is in 2020, our CEOs of the S&P 500 companies, they received on average, about $15.5 million in compensation. Not bad work if you can get it. 299 times that of the average worker in those companies. So didn't break the 300, been there before, but didn't do that. The average CEO saw their pay jump by by $712,720. And you go, what's a cool nearly $750,000 increase? That's 1 year increase. Just last year. Over the past decade, our S&P 500 CEOs have seen their pay jump $2.6 million. Now you go, wow, that's over a decade, Rick. That's not that big of a deal. The average worker, the average production worker, non-supervisory worker, over the same period, that same decade, they saw their income go up by a mere $957. $95 a year. Enough money to go out to a nice dinner. And you're going to tell me that we can't afford to tax these CEOs a little bit, to fund education, to fund roads, to fund the infrastructure that their companies take advantage of? We can't tax these corporations, who a lot of them pay virtually nothing in taxes because of all the loopholes that their lobbyists have created for them. Really, are we going to? Is that the argument? Sorry, Rick, we would love to do all that wonderful stuff like save the planet, help children get an education, help Granny make it through her golden years by getting her choppers fixed and getting the ears done. We'd love to do all those hippie liberal things. But geez, we just have to choose CEO pay or Granny, corporate tax breaks or the children. The people who love to tell us how much they love the children and how much they care about the children, they're the ones, mind you. Remember I said again a minute ago how the $300 per child tax credit's coming out this month? The people who told us that they love the children. Oh, love the children. Every one of them voted against it. Except Mitt Romney. Something wrong here. Now you look at the CEOs who were the worst, the consumer folks, the discretionary consumer sector, Amazon, basically, those companies like Amazon. They saw a worker to CEO ratio of 741 to 1. So when Jeff Bezos says, hey, well, we're paying $15 an hour, this guy's the richest guy in the history of civilization, just about. What's interesting to me in this whole report, and it goes through a bunch of stuff, what's interesting to me is the sector that had the closest CEO to worker pay were the utilities sector. They had a 97 to 1 CEO to worker pay ratio. Now, their CEO still made over almost $13 million. The difference here is the utility sector, heavily unionized. People who make good wages, good benefits, good opportunities. I want that for everybody. Love to hear your thoughts. You can email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. Gonna take a quick break. Right back. Stick around. You're listening to The Rick Smith Show.
Nothing more American than workers standing up, and the union gives a voice to win. On The Rick Smith Show.